who needs to step up the most for the Lions in the second half?
Yeah, and I'm glad you made the point clear that this does not mean that these players have been playing poorly.
Yep.
Either they have been playing very well and we need them to stay at the same level just because they have been playing above their ceiling, or they've been playing well, but if they really want to, if this Detroit Lions team really wants to be taken seriously in the playoffs and getting that number 1 seed, number 2 seed, they need to elevate it just a little bit. On the offensive side of the ball, I think it's pretty easy. I know it's the generic answer, but Jared Goff. Jared Goff on the road, and I'm a Goff guy. Do not get me wrong. With that Baltimore game, it scared the living shit out of me for a second. I've calmed down. I've come back to reality and realized that every NFL team, they're bound to take a shitter. Look at Kansas City last week at Denver. Shout out Sam Flannel. But Jared Goff, he has all the tools around him to succeed. He's shown us time and time again that he can succeed. To me, if this team wants to be a 14-3, 13-4 team, obviously it falls on the whole 53-man roster, but if really it goes on the field general's hands, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have to be making these deep throws. I don't want him to change anything about the way he's playing as far as his style. I would just like him when we go into New Orleans, when we go into Dallas, when we go into Minnesota. Just keep playing the way that you have at home, because none of these games are going to be outdoors. They're going to be in a dome, on the road. That's where Jared Goff is most comfortable when it comes to being on the road. So if he continues to play at the level he is at, I think this team is bound for a number 1 seed if you look at the schedule that they have.
Well, that's I don't hate that answer at all, because Jared Goff, we all know, like as I said in the beginning, you can have had a really, really good year, which Jared Goff has, but he certainly needs to step up and play at the same level and not really have those bad games on tough road games, because that Baltimore game, it wasn't all his fault. It was a total team loss, but there were certainly some things where you're like, things that make you go, some of those throws did not look so great. They only scored 6 points, but the good news is they might not have to go on the road outside for a playoff game at all. But you can't necessarily bank on that. And it was Bob Johnson says, J-Mo for frick's sakes. We'll get to that a little bit later.
I feel like I wanted to go with J-Mo, but who needs to step up for this team to succeed? I don't think J-Mo's a need, especially when you bring in Donovan Peoples-Jones. Completely different type of skill sets. But what they do is very similar. Donovan Peoples-Jones, what does he do? He stretches the field. What does Jameson Williams do? Stretch the field. Now, Jameson Williams is more quick. He's got more burst in his step. But when it comes down to it, their roles are very similar to what they would do on the field. Now, you can put J-Mo in the slot, and he can do more things than Donovan Peoples-Jones. Like when they motioned him on the jet sweep, and I know it was a drop pass, but we saw J-Mo with that drop earlier on in the game against mind blanking. Who did we just play last week?
Am
I mind blanking right now?
No, the Raiders.
The fucking Raiders. When they played the Raiders, and J-Mo's motion, they hit him kind of on like that, not a fade route, but it was definitely just like an outward breaking route that down the sideline, and they hit him back shoulder. It was a good ball in my opinion. But that's the thing that I don't think you'd expect to see Donovan Peoples-Jones to do. So J-Mo, yes, I would like for him to step up and succeed, but I don't think it's an absolute need for this team because, and we'll get into it later when we do the grades, but this offense right now, it's impressive what they are doing, even without Jameson Williams not producing how most Lions fans would expect him to.